Hello everyone and welcome to Zpeaktures Productions. Today will be a comparison between the 1266 from Abass and the Susvara from Hifiman. Now both of these headphones are some of the very best planar magnetics in the market today, and you can almost say they are some of the very best headphones you can get today with money. I mean, there is something called the HE1, and there are things like the Stax 009, the latest edition. I've forgotten what is the letter behind there. But yes, these two represents some of the best headphones in the market today. They are planar magnetics, and they can be used across a wide range of amplifiers. And you know, the price-wise, they are very comparable, 6,000 plus USD. And in Singapore, I believe this is like, what, $7,000, $8,000. And this is also around the same price if you get the latest 1266 TC edition. Now, this Abass here is owned by me. This is the original first ed version of the 1266 with a lower sensitivity of 85. This is something I purchased, I think, in 2015 or 2014. This is a very, very old headphone. Well, this Susvara here from Hifiman is loaned to me by AV1. Thanks to them. Do check out their shop in Adelphi, or if not, in the links below. But they loaned me this copy here to let's test out, compare, and really bring you this particular video, which is a comparison between the 1266 and the Susvara. Now, just a note, because this is the old version of 1266, it doesn't represent the latest 1266 TC. But I've tested with many of my friends. I test even with my wife. She doesn't like me listening to music, by the way. The 1266, at least compared to other headphones other than the Susvara, is superior. I have tried many combinations, and it always ends up this being the best to my friends and to my wife. So today really is a look at both of them. What's the difference? And you know, if you really ask me to choose one, which will I take? Now for this comparison, right, I use this particular setup here. This is the M17 on the Enlem HPA23RM. I feel this is the most satisfying setup for most planar magnetics. It gives so much power to the planar magnetics. It gives so much bass punch. It gives so much soundstage. It gives very good clarity. A lot of separation and position, and maybe in details and certain treble aspect is like not the absolute best, but pretty much everything else is superb. I mean, take a look at my video comparing all the other amps for the purpose of Susvara. You can take a look at our link up here, and you will know why I think the Enlem is fantastic. And for the purpose of this video, I will just use this setup here and test it across multiple songs. Now, I won't be talking about song by song. I will just give you a feel of what I think the difference between both of them. And you know, you can go and one day try to find an audition and try them out yourself, because they are extremely different. Now, both are planar magnetics, both are flagships. They are technical beasts. Tons of details, tons of clarity. But where do they differ? But before I go in depth into the sound, let's talk about, you know, how they look, how they feel, the long-term usage of it, and really, you know, how long will they last, right? Now, this 1266, as I said, owned by me for 8 years, and you can see that the bands have actually broken, and I replaced it with some clips and a new kind of material just to hold it up. So the newer bands are better. You can actually have a screw to remove the rubber here that breaks, and then replace them with new rubber. I should go about buying the new bands, but I didn't want to, so I used the old bands and then just do some strings and then some clips here to just hold it up. It works pretty well. Now, this is a very heavy duty built headphone. I always say that if you throw this at someone, the person may not survive. Well, you know, almost any other headphone, if you throw it at someone, you'll probably break in the process. That's the difference. But it also means that this guy here is just a solid chunk of metal with minimal adjustment. I mean, the only adjustment is this here, to just open and close the headphone, bend it a bit, and then this particular headband here where you can move up, down a little bit. But that's pretty much about it. That's all you can adjust in the 1266. Now on the Susvara, you can adjust a lot more. This is a lot more modern design. Firstly, its band and weight is a lot lighter. You can adjust up and down this thing to just adjust the height of it. And The cups do swivel, so it conforms to your head. And the clamping force, I would say, as this has some clamping force, this has no clamping force, but you have to adjust the pads till it touch your ears and what's not. While this is so much easier to wear. Now, when it comes to actual usage, I would say, as once you adjust the Abyss, it is quite straightforward. I mean, I put it on my head and it holds there. There is not much further adjustment I need to do. I just need to make sure the ear cups touch on the top and there is a gap below my face, and it gives me the nicest sound for the 1266 here. Now for the Susvara, it's very simple. Put on my head and I would say it always conforms to the head. I never have an issue to wear this, but it's just that because of how this thing works here, I tend to readjust it every time I keep it, so like this. So when I wear it, I need to readjust. For the Abyss, usually I just keep it in this state that I can wear immediately. Long-term comfort-wise, I would say as the Susvara is more comfortable because the cups, everything is just more comfortable. The pads, the cups, the weight. While the Abyss is a bit heavy, and it does have a bit of pressure on the top because, as I said, the way I adjust it is that it will stay on my head, and then it does have some pressure on top here, a very slight one. Now, if you are saying that wearing this for maybe 2-3 hours, I think the Abyss and the Susvara has not much difference. But if I was to wear this for, like, say, the entire day, maybe the Susvara would be a lot better to wear. Now, in terms of repeatability of the sound, because all these are flagship, you have to wear in certain ways. That's what a lot of people say. But I can tell you that the Abyss itself is, once you adjust it, it always conforms and feels the same and sounds the same. Even though a lot of measurement out there will say that, oh, you need to put in certain ways, blah, blah, blah. But, once you set it up, it does go on your head quite easily and very fast. The Susvara itself, however, actually needs a bit of adjustment and moving to just make sure it's proper. The difference, however, is very little, and the ceiling on the Susvara is always better. But the Abyss doesn't need a ceiling, so, they don't care about ceiling here. Overpower it with driver quality, I guess. Or whatever it is, high distortion maybe. So this is pretty much the difference when it comes to the physical aspect of it. If you are asking me which headphone will last a lifetime, I think the Abyss will last a lifetime. Because it's just so little in construction that nothing probably break other than the headbands. Where I have this for 8 years, it still looks the same as the day I buy, other than the headband, the rubber broke. So, that is just the quality of the Abyss. While the Susvara itself, I can see it, because this is actually a demo set that loaned to me, I can see a lot of wear and tear, while the Abyss itself, I mean, I'm much more careful with it than probably the demo set, and there's no tarnishing and whatsoever on the black. Yeah. So I think the 1266 is very well built, the Susvara is also very well built, but to last a lifetime, I think the Abyss will beat it by a good margin. And of course, it's heavier and less comfortable. Okay, that's all for the physical aspect and wearing. I mean, let me show you one more time wearing the Susvara. The cup's actually quite nice, the size. And it's very comfortable to wear it. Okay. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the sound quality. As I said again, I'm using the Enlem HPA23RM here together with the M17. The M17 is ESS, however, it's not that harsh. It's quite a well implemented one, quite smooth, and I like it. To get an Enlem, the Enlem. Now, based on a lot of reading, the Enlem HPA, I would say it does exaggerate the sound. But it makes it very enjoyable. It is like so fast, so aggressive. It makes headphone very enjoyable, very much more speaker-like than any other amplifier, I feel. So I mean, it depends. I mean, this is still a very technically good amp in many factors, but it's obviously colored to be a more aggressive amp, and I love it, especially this combination here. So what I heard, right, from both of these headphones. But before that, let me show you the songs I used to compare. Now, I heard the Abyss for 8 years already, so I know how it sounds like, but the Susvara, I only loaned it for a period of time. So obviously, I'm not that used to it, and even then our memory for audio is very flaky, so the only best way to know the difference is to compare side by side in very short time frame. Normally you have to swap between seconds, or if not, no longer than a minute. If not, you already have a faded audio memory. So I went to listen to these few songs here: The Brave, Unravel, Love Car. I'll talk about why I use this new song, and then Ultima. And I also heard one of these cyberpunk song, all on the screen, and let me bring you through the difference between both of these headphones. Now, outright, when you first put it on, the difference is how they sound. The soundstage is totally different. Now, I will use a diagram to just illustrate the difference here. The soundstage of the Abyss feels like this, where the subjects and the instruments are closer to you. However, it feels like they are playing in open space. There is no form of reflection, it's just like everything just moves out and wide. It's a very interesting effect, and this appears on the Abyss 1266 and also appears on the Diana Phi. That is the feeling they give you. Intimate but infinite space for the sound. So you do get positioning, you do get separation. However, everything feels a lot closer, a lot more intimate to you, while there is no wall to the space itself. Now the Susvara, on the other hand, feels like a huge hall. For headphone terms, this is a huge hall. However, unlike the, I would say as the version from Sennheiser, the 800S, this one is a very controlled hall that is huge, with just nice of every single element. And it feels like those hall that is meant for traditional orchestra, where they try to do a bit of dampening and reflections, and so it feels very warm, very nice. Outright, you can feel that the Susvara also is slightly warmer, just a touch warmer, while this guy feels like listening to a concert, a live band kind of feel, and this guy looks like listening to orchestra type of feel. That is outright the difference. Immediately you put on, you will hear that. And really, I hear that in songs like Ultima. It's an orchestra song. This guy feels like somebody played Ultima in the middle of a field, and this guy feels like somebody played Ultima in a theatre. So if you are put in Singapore context, this is like the Esplanade Theatre, and this is probably, I don't know, some Fort Canning Hill exhibit or something like this. Yeah, so in the field, in the theatre, that's the best way to describe the sound, right? So that is soundstage. Now, what's the next thing that captures your attention? Is about the power and the, I don't know how to say, the aggressiveness of the headphone. The Abyss is very aggressive. It feels really live, like you are listening to somebody screaming in front of you, playing the instruments in front of you, such as the song from Unravel by Edo, you know. It feels like you are next to the performance itself. Very high powered, high energy, a lot of aggressiveness in the song itself. That's the Abyss. While this guy always feels like you are watching a very controlled concert, where the singer is singing in the middle of a hall. There is that power, everything, but it feels big and far. So it doesn't feel that intimate, that aggressive. It just feels further away. That's how it feels like for the next thing. And then, thereafter, the next thing that you will notice, if there is bass, like I use a song called Love Car. Love Car has a lot of, I think, bass instruments at the about 20-second mark. There's a lot of this, don't know, is it synthetic or is it some brass? I'm not too sure, but it's bass instrument. It goes throughout a good period of the song. The Abyss feels like shaking your head. The bass has physicality to it. While the one on the, I would say Susvara, there is some of this feeling, but it's not like you are shaking your head, you know. As I said, once again, big concert hall, you are part of it, you're not sitting next to the speaker. It feels like you can feel it, but it's not aggressive. It's kind of just nice, if you ask me. Just nice. Then when the vocals come in, be it Unravel, be it The Brave, be it, you know, in Love Car, this is also where the other difference lies. The Abyss feels like the singer is kind of like that. Like that. Like it's screaming at your face, right in front of you. While this guy feels like out there and sing. So you can hear a more diffuse sound projection that is still focused for the Susvara, while the Abyss feels like in your face power but no walls kind of feeling. That is for the vocals itself. Now when instruments do kick in, like say guitar and violin, the feeling carries through. The Abyss feels very live for those mids. Feels like somebody's playing a violin and guitar next to you. But for at least guitar and violin, it doesn't feel like it's in your face. It feels slightly further out normally. Slightly further out. Then again, most recordings will just put them further out. But yeah, the Abyss will also properly put them further out. So you hear the guitar and bass, they feel very natural, but also very live. Not like a recording. Now, the Susvara feels a little bit like recording, or should I say a properly dampened room or something like this. That's probably not dampened, treated room, yes. The kind of feeling, you know, there's so much difference within the sound when you hear a guitar and violin on the Abyss. Like, I believe some part of Ultima, and then there's also some part of Unravel, there's pianos, and then guitar, violin, and there's also some part of Love Card that does that. It's a huge difference when you feel the guitar and the violin. The Abyss feels live, natural version of it, while the Susvara feels like, you know, concert far away, and very nice, smooth sound out of the Susvara for the mids. Now, when it comes to treble, however, I don't think that the Abyss makes the treble that nice. There is like something about the treble. I don't know. I feel that it's decaying too fast. It's too quick. It feels at times a little unnatural for the treble. When you hear it, you feel like, yeah, this is treble, it's correct. But if you have a lot of cymbals in it, a lot of bells, it feels like Abyss is like, no, a bit too fast for them. I don't know how to explain, but the treble itself doesn't feel as right as the Susvara. That's the difference. I mean, if you were to compare the Abyss with other headphones, you'd probably be fine. The treble is still damn good. But if you were to compare the Susvara side by side, it feels like there's something going on the treble that makes the Susvara more natural sounding. The cymbals, the decay of them, when you hit it, then it decays. Feels more natural on this Susvara than my 1266 here. That is the difference for the treble itself. Now, the treble here also seems to be a lot further. Maybe there's some recess there. While compared to the Susvara, it feels more right. It feels correctly, you know, graphed or something. I don't know how to put it, but it feels correct. There doesn't seem to be anything missing. Now, both of these headphones are not very hot, not very spicy. I would say as the Abyss itself, at probably the certain region where you have sibilance, I believe that's the 4, 5, 6K region. At times, there is a slight higher tendency for Abyss to have sibilance, a very slight higher tendency. So Susvara tends to be a bit more tamed in most songs that I heard. At least all the songs I heard, they're more tame. Now, when it comes to separation and positioning, I will say as the Susvara is slightly better. Purely because the soundstage is big, things are spread out. It feels like you can position things a lot better. But I think the biggest reason why separation do suffer for the Abyss itself is that the bass kicks so hard that the bass kicks plus the rumble sometimes just makes separation a bit hard. Like there's this piano that was playing, I believe, in Unravel behind. It was very soft and I couldn't really hear it as clearly. I know it's there, I can hear it, it's just very, very soft and very diffused with the bass itself. Well, the Susvara you can actually hear it a little bit better and you know where the positioning is. That's kind of like the difference. Then again, this is the old 1266, you know. The newer one seems to be more controlled by right. Most people say that. So maybe it'll be better there. So I'm not too sure on it. That is for positioning and separation. And then if you are looking at something like details, I think both of them are as detailed. As I said, the only issue with the Abyss 1266 is that sometimes the bass can be quite powerful and overwhelming. The feeling of the bass itself and everything, that some details may be lost. This is like the same feeling as if you were to stand next to a speaker and the bass tracks come in. The bass is so overwhelming that at times you may miss out that small little treble, that small little mids that is hiding behind the bass. But the detail is still there. It's just being masked, or should I say, not really masked. It doesn't disappear. It's still there. You can feel it, you can hear it, but the bass can be quite powerful at times, and it makes it hard to take such treble or such mids. So if you're the type that love to hear the smaller details in song, maybe the Abyss is not that suitable for you. Now, with all of that said, when it comes to, like, say, transitions, as I said, the Susvara feels more natural, as I said, especially for the treble kind of instrument, the cymbals, the bells, it feels more natural here. But the Abyss feels very aggressive, very fast, and very fun, especially for the mids and the bass. Totally fantastic on the Abyss, not so much for the treble when it comes to all this transitional stuff. So where does it put, for sound for these two headphones? I think when it comes to technical competency, very technical competency, I think both of them have its strength and its weakness. But if you are looking for absolute down to the final detail technical, I think I have to give it to Susvara for that extra detail and control. But when it comes to really like the mids, the bass, those two spectrum of sound, the Abyss is a totally exciting headphone that you have to try, especially with this amp, and feel the bass in you. The bass in you. It's just so fun, so exciting, so engaging. And I will tell you that when you swap between the headphones, because this is one of the effects of sound, our body just get climatized to the sound that you listen to. So if you listen to a lousy headphone all the time, you feel that it's okay. Your body just get used to it. And then suddenly you put a better one, you will feel that, yeah, this headphone is better, but you really don't know how much better. However, if you were to reverse that process, take a good one and wear, and then take a poorer version of the headphone and wear it, you straight away know like the whole thing degrades. Your mind has just enough memory to know and feel the degradation. It feels like everything got slower, got sloppier, got weaker, got less power. You know, the kind of feeling. And I would say between these two, when you swap between them, you don't get that feeling as much, or don't even get the feeling at all for most of the tracks. But when you have high energy tracks where there's a lot of bass and the singer was like screaming in Unravel, if I was to switch from the Abyss to the Susvara, I feel like the Susvara suddenly lose a lot of energy. It's like, the bass, you are like slamming the pedal to the metal, and then Susvara, you decided to lift it up while still sitting in the Tesla like car. So you get a lot of excellent technical performance, but you feel like you slowed down. That kind of feeling. So really, I think that both are extremely good headphones, technically very competent. If you are looking at the finest detail, I think the Susvara is better. But if you're looking at sheer power, sheer energy, the Abyss is much more enjoyable. So if you ask me which song or what kind of song will fit for both, I mean, I listen mainly vocals, so both are great with me. But if I was listening more for pop and rock, I would say as the Abyss is slightly better. If I listen to orchestra or a little bit of choir, or maybe kind of more soothing type of music, like Suzume, this song from from the anime. It's a little more soothing, a bit more airy. I would say the Susvara makes this magical experience. While if anything like pop and rock, fast hitting, Unravel, The Brave, I listen to the Abyss, it feels magical. Magical because it feels like live performance to me. And that's really about it. Both of these headphones I think are some of the best, and really you should consider them. Now, the Abyss 1266 first version is actually very affordable online now. I saw this version that is like $1,500. Like 1,500 Sing dollars is like one quarter the price I purchased this brand new 8 years ago. And if you were to get it and amplify it properly, I think that it is some of the best headphone out there if you love the sound signature. You like this fast, punchy sound, it is the best headphone for $1,500. insane value. And you can get the second generation, I believe the fee it's 2,500 or so. It's not really expensive. The Susvara, on the other hand, if you want to look for second hand, at least in Singapore itself, it's about 3,000-ish Sing dollars for a second hand, purely because this is still an in production model, while the version 1 and version 2 is very old already. The current in production is the version 4, that is the TC, because it goes from Phi, CC, then TC. So the version 4, and this is like version 1. Version 1 and version 2 of this is really cheap. Now, if Susvara 2 do come out one day, this original Susvara will drop in price, and I'm pretty sure you can get a great bargain. By the way, this is the first version with the 2.5 jack. So actually online you find it's about 3,600 Sing dollars. That translates to about 2008 something, 2008 or 2007 USD. So it's very affordable if you're looking at high end. And well, this headphone, if you can get good quality secondhand, I totally recommend you to try it out, because state of the art when they were out, and still state of the art today when it comes to sound reproduction. That's about for today. Now, I want to talk a little bit on this setup here. Among all the setups, I think once again this is like the most fun setup. I never bought an amplifier so exciting before that. I really love it for everything I tried on, if they are planar magnetics. So I did try it out with dynamics like the HD650 here. Not that fun, but any of my planars, like say, you know, the MM50, the Phi, the Stealth, this is the Susvara, this is the 1266, spectacular. That's about it for today. I hope you enjoy this, talk, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.